Part 1. The day everything changed. You wake up before your alarm goes off. That alone is strange. You usually hit snooze at least 3 times before even thinking about getting up. But today, your eyes opened suddenly, like something pulled you out of sleep. For a moment, you just lie there, staring at the ceiling, listening. The room is quiet, but not empty. There's a faint hum in the air, almost like electricity, barely noticeable, but constant. You sit up slowly. Your heart is beating faster than it should be. You don't know why. Nothing happened. Nothing should have happened. And yet, something feels different. Your alarm suddenly explodes into sound, making you jump. You slap it off instantly. Too fast. You pause. Your hand is still hovering over the clock. You didn't even think about moving that quickly. You frown. Okay, that was weird. You shake your hand like it might explain something. It doesn't. You grab your phone from beside your pillow. The screen lights up. Notifications. Messages. Random updates. The same noise as always. You scroll. But then, the screen glitches. Not like a normal lag. Not like a software bug. It warps. For just a split second, the icons stretch unnaturally, like reality itself bent and snapped back into place. You blink. It's gone. Everything looks normal again. You stare at the screen, waiting for it to happen again. It doesn't. I need more sleep, you mumble. You drag yourself out of bed and walk toward the bathroom. Your reflection looks the same. Same tired eyes. Same messy hair. Same you. But your gaze lingers longer than usual. Something feels off, even if you can't see it. You lean closer to the mirror. For a second, you swear your reflection moves slightly out of sync. You jerk back. What the? You blink again. Now it's normal. Perfectly synced. You stare for a few seconds longer. Nothing. You laugh it off nervously. Okay, I'm definitely losing it. You head to the kitchen, still trying to shake the feeling. The house is quiet. Too quiet. Even the usual background noises feel distant. You grab a glass from the counter and place it on the table. Then you turn to pour water. Your movements feel sharper today. Faster. More precise. Like your body is reacting before you even fully decide what to do. You pour the water, set the jug down, and reach for the glass. But before your fingers touch it, the glass slides toward you. You freeze. It moves smoothly across the table, stopping right in front of your hand. Your breath catches. You don't move. Did that just? No. No way. You slowly pull your hand back. The glass stays still. You wait. Nothing happens. Okay, maybe it was just tilted or something. You look at the table. It's flat. Perfectly flat. You swallow. Then, cautiously, you try again. This time, you don't reach. You just stare at the glass. Focus. Nothing. You exhale. See? Just your imagination. The glass moves. Again. This time slower. More controlled. Sliding toward you like it's being pulled by an invisible thread. Your heart starts pounding. No. You step back. The glass stops. Silence fills the room. You stare at your hand. Then at the glass. Then back at your hand. Do that again. Your voice is quiet. Uncertain. You lift your hand slightly, palm facing the glass. You focus harder this time. Really focus. And the glass lifts. Just an inch. Floating. Suspended in the air. Time stops. Your brain refuses to process what you're seeing. This isn't possible. This can't be possible. And yet, it's happening. You gasp and drop your hand. The glass falls, hitting the table with a sharp sound but doesn't break. You stumble backward, nearly tripping over your own feet. What is happening? Your voice echoes louder than expected. You're breathing fast now. Too fast. Your chest feels tight. But under the fear, there's something else. Excitement. You rush back to your room. Your mind is racing. Adrenaline flooding your system. This isn't real. This isn't real. But it is. You know it is. Because you felt it. You stand in the middle of your room, looking around. You need proof. You need to understand. You lock your eyes on your backpack. It's sitting on the chair. Still. Normal. You raise your hand again. Slowly. Carefully. Okay, if this is real. You focus. Harder than before. And then, the backpack moves. Not just a little. It rises. Higher. Floating in midair like gravity just stopped applying to it. Your mouth drops open. You laugh. Loud. Uncontrolled. This is insane. The backpack spins slightly as you move your hand. Like it's connected to you. Like it's obeying you. You push forward slightly. The backpack flies across the room. Hits the wall. Drops. You flinch. Okay, too much. You look at your hands. They are trembling, but not from fear anymore. From energy. From power. Then, everything goes quiet. Too quiet. The air around you shifts. And a voice speaks. Not from outside. From inside your head. Clear. Calm. Unavoidable. 24 hours. You freeze. What? Your eyes dart around the room. No one is there. Your heart starts racing again. Who said that? No answer. Just silence. Then, use it wisely. The voice fades. Gone as quickly as it came. You stand there. Completely still. Trying to process what just happened. 24 hours? What does that mean? 24 hours of this? Your eyes slowly move to your hands. To the place where the power came from. A realization hits you. Hard. This isn't permanent. This isn't something you can keep. This is temporary. A gift. Or a test. Or something else entirely. But one thing is clear. There's a limit. You grab your phone again. Check the time. The seconds tick by like they suddenly matter more than anything else. If this started when I woke up, you do the math. Your stomach drops. You've already used some of it. Without even knowing, your heart starts pounding again. But this time, it's different. This isn't fear. This is urgency. You don't have time to sit here. You don't have time to question it. You have 24 hours. And they're already running out. You look around your room one last time. Everything feels smaller now. Less important. Because now, you're not limited by it anymore. You take a deep breath. Let's see what else I can do. You step outside. The sunlight hits you instantly. Brighter than before. Sharper. You can hear things more clearly. Feel the wind more intensely. Everything is amplified. You look up at the sky. Endless. Open. Free. Your heart starts beating faster again. Okay. You bend your knees slightly. Take a breath. And jump. But you don't fall. Your body stops mid-air. Hovering. Perfectly still. Your eyes widen. No way. You push slightly forward. And your body moves. Gliding through the air like you've done this your whole life. You're flying. The realization hits you all at once. And you laugh. Louder than ever before. A real laugh. Pure. Uncontrolled. I'm flying. You go higher. The ground shrinking beneath you. Cars becoming dots. People disappearing into patterns. The wind rushes past your face. Your clothes ripple. Your heart feels like it's going to explode. Not from fear. From freedom. You spin in the air. Lose control for a second. Then stabilize again. Each movement becoming easier. More natural. Like your body is learning in real time. You dive. Fast. Too fast. The ground rushes toward you. You panic. And stop instantly. Hovering just a few feet above the street. A few people look up. Confused. Shocked. One of them points. Did you see that? You freeze. They're looking at you. Really looking. For the first time, you realize something important. You're not invisible. What you're doing can be seen. And just like that, the excitement mixes with something new. Something dangerous. Attention. Part 2. Power, fame, and the cracks. You hover just above the ground. A few people are staring. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to matter. Did you see that? He stopped in the air. Your heart starts pounding again. This time not from excitement. From awareness. They saw you. For a second, you don't move. Your brain runs through options faster than ever before. Deny it. Run. Hide. Or, you slowly rise. Just a little higher. Gasps ripple through the small crowd. Phones come out instantly. Cameras pointed straight at you. And just like that, the moment becomes real. You're not just someone with powers anymore. You're someone people are watching. At first, it feels incredible. You straighten your posture mid-air. Lift your chin slightly. Control your breathing. If they're going to look, you might as well give them something worth watching. You float higher, then tilt forward. And fly. The sound hits you first. Shouts. Screams. Excited voices echoing behind you as you shoot forward above the street. You glance back for just a second. Dozens of people now. All pointing. All recording. And just like that, you go viral. You don't even need to check your phone to know it. You can feel it. The energy. The shift. Something has changed. And it's not going back. You land on top of a nearby building. Your chest rises and falls as you try to steady your breathing. Your mind is racing. That just happened. You run a hand through your hair. People saw that. Your phone buzzes. Then buzzes again. And again. You slowly pull it out. Notifications explode across the screen. Messages. Tags. Mentions. Unknown numbers calling. You open one video. It's you. Floating. Clear as day. Who is this guy? Is this real? No way, this is fake. The views are climbing. Fast. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Still going. You stare at the screen. Half shocked. Half something else. Something growing inside you. Pride. You did that. That's you. Not a filter. Not a trick. You. You look back at the city. At the streets below. At the people moving like nothing has changed. But everything has. At least for you. You close your phone slowly. Let's push it further. The next few hours feel like a dream. But faster. Louder. Bigger. You test your limits. You fly higher than before. So high the air gets thinner. The city looks like a map. Tiny. Controlled. You hover there for a moment. Looking down. A strange thought crosses your mind. This is what power feels like. You drop. Straight down. Faster than ever. Wind screaming past your ears. Your eyes watering from the speed. Right before impact. You stop. Perfectly. Without a single mistake. You laugh again. Louder this time. More confident. More sure. You start experimenting. Telekinesis. Flight. Speed. Reaction time. Everything feels connected. Like one ability feeding into another. You find a quiet street. Empty. You hold out your hand. Focus. A trash can lifts. Then another. Then another. 3 objects floating around you like planets orbiting a sun. You spin your hand. They spin with it. Faster. Sharper. More controlled. This is insane. You push harder. Too hard. One of them slips. Flies off at an angle. Crashes into a parked car. Alarm blares instantly. You freeze. Your chest tightens. Okay. Control. You lower the remaining objects carefully. Slowly. Gently. The car alarm keeps screaming. A reminder. A warning. You step back. You're breathing heavier now. That wasn't perfect. That wasn't safe. For the first time since this started, you realize something important. You're not just powerful. You're dangerous. The thought lingers. But you push it away. Just need more practice? And you go back to it. As the day moves forward, the attention grows. People start looking for you. Actively. Videos spread everywhere. Clips of you flying. Stopping mid-air. Moving objects without touching them. News channels pick it up. Headlines flash. Unknown individual displays superhuman abilities. Real-life superhero or hoax? Is this the future of humanity? You watch one of the broadcasts from a distance. Standing on another rooftop. Hidden. Listening. They appear to have control over gravity or some form of telekinesis. No confirmed identity yet. Authorities are urging caution. You smirk slightly. Authorities. For a moment. You feel untouchable. But then, you remember. 24 hours. You check the time. 8 hours left. The number hits harder than expected. Half your remaining time, already gone. Your excitement dims slightly. Replaced by something heavier. Pressure. You only have a few hours left. And you haven't even begun to understand what you can really do. So you go bigger. You return to the sky. This time, not just flying. Performing. Sharp turns between buildings. High-speed dives. Mid-air spins. Stopping instantly. Launching again. Below you. Crowds gather. Pointing. Cheering. Recording everything. You hear your name. Or at least, a name they've given you. Sky Guy. Flying Man. Real-life superhero. You laugh, shaking your head. This is insane. You hover above them for a moment. Looking down. Hundreds of faces. All staring at you. Waiting. You raise your hand slowly. And lift. A car. Gasps explode from the crowd. You hold it there. Suspended. Effortless. Or at least, it looks effortless. But inside, you feel it. The strain. Your arms shake slightly. Your focus tightens. Your breathing becomes controlled. This is heavier. Much heavier. But you don't drop it. You hold it. Just long enough. Then gently lower it back down. The crowd erupts. Cheers. Applause. Phones capturing every second. And for a moment, you feel unstoppable. Until your vision flickers. Just for a second. You blink. Everything returns to normal. But your heart skips. That wasn't nothing. That was a warning. You step back, slowly rising into the air again, creating distance. The cheers fade behind you as you move away. Your breathing is heavier now. Your body feels off. Not weak. Not yet. But not stable either. You land on another rooftop. Quieter. Empty. You sit down, hands resting on your knees. What's happening to me? You look at your hands. The faint glow around them. It's not steady anymore. It flickers, like a light running out of power. And then, the voice returns. Every action has a consequence. You close your eyes. Tight. I know. Silence. But the message stays. You open your eyes slowly, looking out over the city again. The sun is starting to lower. Time is running out. And now, you understand something you didn't before. This isn't just about having power. It's about how much you can handle, how much you're willing to risk, and how far you're willing to go before it breaks you. You check the time again. 6 hours left. And somewhere deep inside, you know, the hardest part of this day hasn't even started yet. Part 3, consequences, loss of control, and breaking point. You sit on the rooftop longer than you expected. The noise of the city feels distant now. Muted. Like you're slowly disconnecting from everything around you. Your hands rest on your knees. They are still glowing, but weaker. Unstable. Flickering like a dying light. You stare at them. This isn't going to last. For the first time since this started. That thought doesn't scare you. What scares you is what might happen before it ends. You take a slow breath, then stand. You don't have time to sit here. Not anymore. You rise into the air again. But this time, it's different. Slower. Heavier. Like something is resisting you. You push through it, forcing your body higher. Moving across the city again. Below you, things haven't slowed down. If anything, they've gotten worse. More people. More crowds. More attention. Police cars now. News vans. Drones in the air. They're not just watching anymore. They're tracking you. You feel it. Eyes everywhere. You stop mid-air. Hovering. Looking around. A drone flies closer. Camera pointed directly at you. You raise your hand slightly. And it freezes. Suspended. For a moment, you consider destroying it. Then you hesitate. No. You lower your hand. Let it go. It flies away instantly. You exhale slowly. That was close. You're not thinking clearly anymore. And that's dangerous. You move again. Faster this time. Trying to create distance. But the city feels smaller now. Everywhere you go, someone sees. Someone records. Your feet hit the ground harder than expected. You stumble slightly. Okay. Your balance isn't perfect anymore. You lean against the wall, closing your eyes for a second. Your head feels heavy. Your thoughts slower. And then, you hear it. A crash. Loud. Close. Your eyes snap open. You turn toward the sound. Smoke rises nearby. People shouting. Panic spreading. Your body reacts instantly. You're there in seconds. A bus. Tilted. Half off the road. Window shattered. People trapped inside. Your heart drops. No. This isn't small. This isn't practice. This is real. You step forward. Then hesitate. Your hands shake. Not from fear. From weakness. What if I mess this up? The thought hits hard. Before, you were playing, testing, exploring. But this is different. Lives are on the line. And you're not at full strength anymore. You look at your hands again. The glow flickers. Unstable. You close your eyes. Take a breath. I have to try. You step forward. People notice you instantly. It's him. The flying guy. Help them. Their voices hit you all at once. Expectations. Pressure. You block it out. Focus. You raise your hands. And the people rush in, pulling survivors one by one. You keep holding it. Seconds feel like minutes. Your strength fades faster. Your hands shake violently now. Come on, come on. One more person. Then another. Almost done. Your vision flickers again. Harder this time. Everything goes dim for a split second. The bus slips. Just a little. But enough. People scream. You push harder, forcing it back up. Your body feels like it's tearing apart. I can't. Yes. You can. You have to. Final person. Pulled out. Everyone's clear. Someone shouts. You don't wait. You drop the bus. Not violently, but not gently either. It slams onto the ground. You collapse instantly. Knees hitting concrete. Hands barely catching yourself. Your breathing is out of control. Your chest burns. Your head spins. I almost lost it. You look up. People are staring at you again. But this time, it's different. Not excitement. Not amazement. Fear. You see it in their eyes. They saw you struggle. They saw you almost fail. And for the first time, they're not sure if you're a hero or a risk. You stand slowly, barely steady. I need to go. You lift yourself into the air. But it's rough, unstable. You almost fall, but recover. Barely. You fly away, faster than before. Not to show off, to escape. You don't stop until you reach the edge of the city. A quiet place. Empty. You land. Hard. Falling forward onto your hands. Your body feels broken. Not physically, but something inside is draining. You lie there, breathing heavily. What is this doing to me? You roll onto your back, staring at the sky. It's darker now. Sun almost gone. Time is slipping away. You check your phone. 3 hours left. The number hits differently now. Before, it felt like a countdown of opportunity. Now, it feels like a countdown of survival. You close your eyes. You remember the moment earlier. The bus slipping. The panic. The fear in people's eyes. You weren't in control. Not completely. And that scares you more than anything else. Because power without control is danger. You sit up slowly. I can't keep going like this. You have a choice now. Keep using your powers. Push harder. Risk everything. Or stop. Let it end quietly. Walk away. Be safe. Be normal again. The thought lingers. For a moment. You actually consider it. But then, you hear something. Distant. Faint. A siren. Then another. Then many. Your head turns toward the city. Something big is happening. Something worse than before. You feel it. And deep inside, you already know. This is it. The moment that will define everything. You stand up. Slowly. Painfully. Your hands glow again. Weak. Flickering. But still there. You take a breath. One last time. And you rise into the air. Not strong. Not fast. But determined. Because even if this power breaks you, you're not going to waste what's left of it. You fly back toward the city. Toward the chaos. Toward whatever is waiting. Because this time, it's not about testing your limits. It's about facing them. Part 4 of the final hour. The city looks different now. Not from above, but from within. As you fly closer, the lights feel harsher. The sounds louder. The chaos, heavier. Sirens scream from every direction. Police cars block streets. Crowds gather, but not like before. Not curious. Not excited. Terrified. You slow down as you approach. Your body doesn't let you go faster anyway. Smoke rises from the center of the city. Thick. Dark. Something is wrong. Very wrong. You push forward. Every movement feels like effort now. Then you see it. A high-rise building. Half of it. Collapsed. The structure is unstable. Cracked down the middle. Parts of it still standing. Barely. Fire spreads across multiple floors. Debris litters the streets below. Emergency teams are everywhere. But they're not going in. They can't. It's too dangerous. Your heart drops. No. People are still inside. You can feel it. You don't know how. But you know. You land nearby. Hard. Barely catching yourself. A firefighter turns toward you. Eyes wide. It's you? You step forward. How many are inside? He hesitates. Then answers. Dozens, or maybe more. The building could come down any second. You look up. The structure groans. Metal bending. Concrete shifting. It won't last long. You check the time. 1 hour left. Your chest tightens. This is it. Not a test. Not practice. This is the moment. You look at your hands. The glow is barely there now. Faint. Unstable. You know what this means. Whatever you do in there might be the last thing you do. You close your eyes. Just for a second. Then open them. Focused. I'll get them out. Before anyone can respond. You're already moving. You lift into the air and fly straight into the building. Inside, it's chaos. Smoke fills the air. Heat burns your skin. The structure creaks with every second. You land on a broken floor, coughing slightly. Hello? No response. You move deeper. Your senses feel weaker now. Slower. But you push forward. You find the first group. 3 people trapped under debris. You raise your hands and lift. It's harder now. Much harder. The debris barely moves. Your arms shake instantly. Come on. You push. Harder. It lifts. Just enough. Go. They crawl out quickly, running past you. You don't stop. You move again. Searching. Every step feels heavier. Every breath harder. You find more. 2 on another floor. Then 4. Then 1. Each rescue drains you further. Your vision flickers constantly now. Your hands. Barely glowing. You stumble once. Catch yourself. Not yet. You keep going. Time passes differently inside. Faster. Too fast. You check your phone. 15 minutes left. Your heart drops. No. Not enough time. You look around. There are still people inside. You can hear them. Faint. Distant. You push forward again. Ignoring the pain. Ignoring the weakness. You find the last group. Top floor. 5 people. Trapped. The ceiling above them. Cracked. Ready to collapse. You freeze. This is it. You can't carry all of them at once. You don't have the strength. You can barely lift anything anymore. You look at them. Terrified. Waiting. Please? The word hits you harder than anything else today. You look at your hands. Then at the ceiling. Then back at them. You make a decision. I'll hold it. They don't understand. Not yet. You step forward. Raise both hands. Focus everything you have left. The ceiling stops. Not completely, but enough. You're holding it. All of it. The weight crashes into you instantly. Your knees almost buckle. Your arms shake violently. Go. They don't hesitate. One by one, they run. Each second feels like an eternity. Your vision goes dark at the edges. Your body screams. I can't. Yes. You can. You have to. 4th person. 5th. Last one reaches the exit. And you let go. The ceiling collapses. Everything falls. And for a moment, there is silence. Outside, the building finally gives in, collapsing completely. Dust fills the air. People scream. Emergency teams rush forward. But you're not there anymore. Not in the way you were. Time passes. Minutes. Maybe more. Then, movement. From the rubble. A hand. Yours. You push yourself up slowly. Barely. Your body feels empty. No energy. No power. The glow. Gone. Completely. You fall back slightly. Breathing weak, but alive. People rush toward you. You're alive. Hands pull you up. Voices surround you. But everything feels distant. Faded. You look at your hands one last time. Nothing. Just normal. You smile slightly. It's over. You close your eyes. Not from weakness. From peace. The next morning, you wake up. Same room. Same ceiling. Same light. Everything is normal again. You sit up slowly. Your body feels human. No power. No glow. No difference. But inside, everything has changed. You look at your hands. Just hands. But yesterday, they held something impossible. You stand. Walk to the window. The city moves like always. Unaware. Unchanged. But you know the truth. Power doesn't last. Fame doesn't last. Even time doesn't last. But what you do with it, that stays. You take a deep breath, and for the first time, you don't wish for power again. Because now, you understand something greater. You don't need it to make a difference.